A rapid new test for coronavirus that can deliver results in just 90 minutes. 500,000 will be available from next week, millions more later this year.
Almost 500,000 tests will be available from next week across adult care settings, and hospitals are expected to receive them from September. Millions more of the tests are set to be rolled out later in the year. Meanwhile, 5,000 DNA machines, which analyse nose swabs, will provide 5.8 million tests in the coming months. The tests, which will go to pop-up labs, will also be able to detect common winter illnesses such as the flu. There's hopes that more widespread testing could flag localised outbreaks before they take hold, and regional lockdowns have to be put in place. With concerns about an increase in cases in the winter and the strain that would place on the NHS, there'll be calls for even more testing across the UK.
After months of home working, companies across England can insist that staff go back to the office, but there are worries that the government's sending out mixed messages.
I'm a bit concerned actually because they're saying I can't meet up with family, they can't come into my house, but I can still go to work with people I don't even know.
Good morning. Eat Out to Help Out, the Chancellor's latest scheme designed to kickstart the economy, begins today. 72,000 firms have signed up to offer cut price meals. But how does it work and who will pay? I'm in Watford this morning to find out.
A major incident is declared in Greater Manchester as officials ramp up their response to a rising number of Covid-19 cases. This morning's papers for you right now. Monday morning, Daily Mail reporting on those new 90-minute coronavirus tests. More on that throughout the programme this morning, which it calls game-changing.
The Metro, meanwhile, leads with the suggestion that the over 50s might be asked to stay at home in order to prevent a second wave of coronavirus. It also has a picture of Lewis Hamilton celebrating at Silverstone after winning his seventh British Grand Prix.
And the Mirror is reporting on calls for a Conservative MP who was arrested after being accused of rape to be suspended from the party. The former minister has not had the whip withdrawn. The party says there'll be a review once officers have finished their investigation.
And the Manchester Evening News focuses on, quote, a major incident which has been declared in Greater Manchester after Covid infection rates continued to rise at the end of last week, including particularly big spikes in the boroughs of Manchester, Tameside and Oldham.
Have a look at some of the inside pages for you. You got a fishing story for us? Go on then.
I know you're not a keen fisherman.
Well, I don't go fishing, but I like the idea of it. I like the places you go fishing in because it's beautiful and calm and quiet, hopefully clean.
Is it fisher person now to be gender neutral? Because I asked if you're a fisherman.
Good point.
Fisher people. Anyway, there's a new craze emerging, which is magnet fishing, because there's obviously a dearth of metal at the moment, and so people are taking out massive magnets to bring in. I mean, you can see top left here, Nigel Lamford, who often finds weapons which have been discarded in beauty spots by criminals. He's got a discarded gun.
So you just dangle your rod as you would normally over the water and just haul out?
You dangle your massive magnet.
Yes.
And then it attracts, on the end of a rope, and then it attracts metal. His favourite finds are parking meters from the 1970s and 1980s. Searching London's canal has brought up a dozen this year. I'm going to paint them up in Camden green colours like the council would have used.
Presumably, most of the time, you're going to pull out things like shopping trolleys and that kind of stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, but I suppose you could make some money from it, but also you're helping clean up the area, aren't you?
Well, that's true. That is very true. So, on the subject of old stuff, car number plates, right? A lot of people are very interested in car number plates. You can't really see this. I don't know why I'm holding it up. It's tiny, tiny little lettering here. So, old car registrations. So, one of the oldest number plates has sold for £216,000 just recently, OK? And the number plate is just the numbers 09.
Oh, wow.
Just two numbers, 09. And it dates back to 1904, when cars had to display a registration number for the very first time. So that's when they first had to display them. So 09 means it was the ninth car registered in Birmingham.
Oh, wow.
So
that's really
09.
cool.
So apparently the present owner's father bought it in 1949 for a £5. and now sold for £216,000. So, yeah, I didn't know. I've never seen a number plate, which is just two numbers like that. But obviously that denotes right at the beginning of all car registrations.
It makes sense. It's a very cool little slice of history, but is it more than £200,000 worth of cool? I'm not sure whether I'd be that keen.
Don't know.